Hey everyone, Sarah Brown Westling here from the Council of Chief State School Officers National Teacher of the Year program, and I'm excited to introduce Voices from the Classroom, the State Teacher of the Year podcast. CCSSO's National Teacher of the Year program provides a platform for exceptional educators to elevate issues that affect teachers and their students, expand their leadership roles, and inform policy and practice. I was named National Teacher of the Year in 2010, and since then, I've been committed to sharing the stories and elevating the voices of the State Teachers of the Year. It is my hope that this podcast will give you insight into the incredible work they do. The 2021-2022 school year has commenced, and many educators have used their experiences over the last 2 years to reflect on how they can better serve students to ensure their overall success. In these new episodes, the 2021 State Teachers of the Year will share how they used the shift in learning environments as an opportunity to refine their approach to teaching so they can better support students and their varying needs. You can join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag #NTOY21 or by visiting us online at ntoy.org. That's NTOY.org.
This is Carolyn Fennessy, Press Secretary at CCSSO. Welcome, Sabrina, and thank you so much for joining us for this conversation today. To start, could you please introduce yourself?
Aloha, my name is Sabrina Suluai-Mahuka, and I'm the Territorial Teacher of the Year from American Samoa.
So we know that so much about education has had to change in the past couple of years with the pandemic, but is there one practice, strategy, concept, or ideology that you're definitely keeping going into this year?
An ideology that I want to focus on is building identity and illuminating that personal backgrounds and ethnicities are what make us unique. A lot of the times, our students don't really value themselves or their backgrounds, and it's so disheartening to see. And so I want my students to know how special they are, how their upbringings, how their culture, how their traditions are so meaningful, and how they can use that to propel themselves forward in college and career spaces. So with that in mind, I want to bring that pride forward. So they not only acknowledge their roots, but use it as affirmation that they are uniquely special in their own way.
Are there specific projects or other ways that you're helping them do that?
Absolutely. So we actually work on Common App together. And one of the prompts is talking about identity and their background. And we are doing that. Actually, we started that this week to write essays. And so they're trying to brainstorm how their backgrounds, even if it's just being the temple or like not so much as the princess of the village, but almost the maiden of the village. And so some things like that we bring forward so they can explore how they are special, and then that their culture is something to definitely value and praise.
And do you find that's a new experience for your students, bringing this to the forefront and highlighting it as an asset?
Most of the time, yes, because at the same time, while we do appreciate our culture, we see it as sometimes as something that is just something to have, but we don't see it as a strength. And that's what I want to share, that they, when you go to college or when you go to your career spaces, you bring that with you because it's something, that we can use as our skills. But also in terms of communicating, in terms of showcasing our professionalism, that can be embedded into how we actually interact on a daily basis.
So even as you're, encouraging them to lift up their identities and all of this, is there something that you are getting rid of for this school year that you're just like, this isn't working?
Absolutely. So one thing for this school year I'm going to let go of is the idea of learning loss. Before, I used to be very particular with sticking to a schedule and the goals for the curriculum. And I would just kind to tell my students, oh, you're falling behind. You need to do this. You need to be at this lesson at this specific time. But I've come to understand that, of course, our students learn at different learning paces, especially now with everything that's going on. Sometimes we have to do hybrid learning or blended learning. And, for example, these students are tuning in through Zoom and they're learning how to be digital citizens. They're learning how to participate in virtual meetings. And for myself, like I didn't learn how to do that until I was in graduate school. And so these students, they're elementary, they're high school students, and they're doing it so easily. And so those are things that I just want to recognize, that there is no learning loss. It's just a different type of learning. And I'm definitely going to let go of that mindset.
Right. Not looking at it as sort of a glass half empty thing, but while we had to make these changes and some things are maybe slowed down versus where they would have been before, there's all these other skills that they learned.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Any other super fun stories from coming back you'd like to add?
I think the funniest one is that when my students understand that I get to be in a space with other teachers of the year, and opportunities like Space Camp and the upcoming Washington Week, every time they're kind of in shock because they didn't understand that that's what happens when you become teacher of the year. And so right now I told them, hey, if everything goes well, I'm going to meet the president. And one student looked at me, of the US? And I said, yes, absolutely, of the US, of the United States of America. And so I'm just looking forward to being an ambassador for my territory and then bringing these stories back to my own students to share with them.
That's wonderful. I think that is a great note to leave it on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the latest series of Voices from the Classroom, the State Teacher of the Year podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Council of Chief State School Officers National Teacher of the Year program. It's our honor to elevate the voices of educators across the country and provide them with a national platform to amplify their message and advocate on behalf of their students and colleagues. Please share these lessons on social media with the hashtag NTOY21. That's hashtag NTOY21. Let's keep the conversation going.